NBA fans, know-it-all, watchers, viewers, and participants in the live chat, our chat fam, anybody's in the building with us. Thanks for joining us as we live stream an episode of the Central Division Showdown on the That's Rather Cavalier podcast. I'm your boy Tate in the building. Right now, one of two, waiting on one or two other people to join us. My boy B False from the Bleachers or Speakers podcast, FFSN Bleachers or Speakers podcast is in the building. False, what's up with you, man? What's happening?
Not much, man. I made it. I'm one half of Bleacher to Speakers. I'm holding it down for the crew this week, probably. But yeah, we got game one of the Western Conference Finals tonight. I think that's probably why we were trying to get things rolling, but should be a good game.
Nah, that's
It's
that
oh,
that's
it's,
tomorrow night.
oh, it's tomorrow. Okay, all right.
And
Well,
then the East is Wednesday. We got no basketball tonight.
oh yeah, it's not too much going on. Just
Yeah,
baseball.
not too much going on. Check out your baseball squad. That's about it, man.
Right, right.
But yeah, man. So initially, and we're waiting on the homie from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans, the homie JJ3's in the building from that channel, Fans First Sports Network, Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan. One of one of the team over there, somebody always filling in for Pay. So I'm sure them guys get tired of pulling on the rope sometimes. But I think Pay is going on vacation though, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah,
shout out to the little fella, man. You know, hopefully he enjoy. Oh, he's a little fella to me now.
right.
So you know, but yeah, man. So there were when the playoffs started or were about to get underway, there were five teams, June, from the Central Division, five of five that had something to play for. You know what I mean? We're the Central Division Showdown podcast, so we rep the Central. So we're gonna find a way to throw the Bulls in the mix because they were in the play-in, right? I mean, they didn't make the
Okay,
offs, but they
okay.
were
You're right.
in the
You're
ends.
right.
They were in the end, so they had something to play for. Miami got the best of them in that series. I would say I think they probably should have been glad that Miami got them, where they didn't ran into that freight train that we thought was the Cleveland Cavaliers, that I thought was the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they did freight train the Miami Heat, but they didn't do much after that against the Indiana Pacers. So, be false. If you don't mind, man, you can chime in whenever you want. Before we get into the rest of the Central, and before we break down the playoffs matchups, and we got the homie JJ3 in the building. Finally, from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan, JJ3, what's happening, man? We,
I don't think you can hear.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
yeah, we see you and we hear you. Can you hear us?
I don't think you can.
All right, let me finish. So I was saying before we get into the rest of the Central, man. Um, I want to just do a autopsy, and I told you backstage I call it an autopsy because the Cavs got to the second round, they were dead on arrival. So I tell you, you chatting with JJ3.
Yes.
Okay, what's up with him?
Says that he can't hear us and that it's buffering.
Hmm. Okay.
You
Well,
can, yeah,
yeah, man. So go ahead.
you can keep going. Yeah, keep going because we'll figure it out.
Okay. Nah. So I said we're gonna play all, and this is what I think happens to the Cavs. And the narrative is right now, and it's partly true. Cavs are a good regular season team because it's kind of like the NBA came up with a rule change years ago, the whole freedom of movement thing, right?
Okay.
And in the NBA, that's the thing. Like they call fouls, you can't be physical, all that kind of stuff like that. The Cavs run a semi fast paced spread 3-point shooting offense. They don't have a true post player they can go get a bucket. They got some bigs that come from the dunk spot, and Evan Mobley has a few post moves, but he's not a polished professional like he's going to be. But so when it comes to post scoring, and what they did was they ran into playoff physicality that they weren't ready for. And this is essentially 3 years in a row. I mean, the first year they got punked against the Knicks a few years ago. Straight punk, bullied, everything. Last year, not so much punked or bullied. I think injuries got him. Jared Allen, but quote unquote, because he's maybe soft, decided to sit out the playoffs last year.
He didn't play at all last year?
Yeah. He said not the entire playoffs. He played the first round. He got hurt against the Magic and didn't play the last 3 games of that series and then went 7. Then against Boston, he was out the entire series, and Donovan Mitchell got hurt that series after 2 games. And I think Donovan Mitchell, as you reflect back, probably was really hurt because this year he had dealing with a calf strain and an ankle, and he played through it. He played all right. He wasn't hitting his shot, but I think that's partly because of the Pacers also, right? The Pacers' physicality. Darius Garland not being there, a true ball handler, point guard, allowed the Pacers to pick up full court, 94 feet, make it difficult for the Cavs get into their offense, get a rhythm, get a flow going. And that gave them problems. I said everything back. Instead of getting down, set up the offense with 18 on the shot clock, they getting down there setting up with 11 on the shot clock. So everything is at a frantic, different kind of pace than what they have been used to. Because they're the second most efficient offense all time. Offensive rating all time.
Wow.
Yeah. So they ran into that. Some injuries. You can't blame it on injuries. I would have thought they would beat the Pacers with even with injuries. When Darius Garland was out the first couple games, before game 1, I thought, okay, we beat Miami Heat without in the last 2 games. We can compete against the Pacers. But Rick Carlisle's a Hall of Fame coach. He saw and exposed the chinks in the armor, man. The physicality aspect of it. Cleveland star players. Donovan Mitchell's always on the floor. They picking up them boys full court. Ty Jerome, who I was bragging on at one point about being better than Kobe White for the Chicago Bulls. He didn't prove to be. So the only thing I can say is he got more career points in the playoffs than Kobe White. Why is that? Kobe's never been there.
Never been.
You know what I mean? So, when JJ3 get on, he can take defense and rebut for any of the Bulls fans. But yeah, man. So I wanted to play a quick little clip from our Big Perk, Kendrick Perkins, and Channing Frye, former Cleveland Cavalier, longtime NBA player, about what happened. This whole little clip is about the Cavs basically being soft. You'll see some graphics on there. One of them you'll see like the Cavs as soft as Q-tips, the Cavs as soft as butter. So you'll see some of these graphics.
Perkins was an ex-Cavs too, right? Is an ex-Cavs player.
Perkins was ex-Cav. Yeah, they both were. But, I think, Channing Frye won a championship with the Cavs. So he I'm a Cav, right?
True Cav.
Kendrick Perkins, he identified more with Boston than OKC. Probably Boston first. Yep. So he don't really fool with the Cavs like that. You know what I mean? Not like, I'm rooting for him. I had a cup of tea in Cleveland.
Right.
If he got a chip like Channing Frye did, it might be different. Channing Frye played more years elsewhere.
Still didn't pull no punches when he got to him because I think Perkins was the one that actually used the word and Frye co-signed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're probably right. We're about to watch. I just wanted to let you know what some of the graphics about. You see a graphic of the Cavs are softer than Nicki Minaj's behind. So
that's quite soft from what I hear.
Right, from what I hear too. So we're gonna take a listen to Big Perk and Channing Frye and see what they had to say about the Cavs.
This Cavs team, they was just fucking soft.
Jared Allen is not a playoff big man. He is not physically dominant. He is not aggressive. You know what bothered me the most about that series? Do you ever watch when there's a little scuffle where he is? At some point, as the main dude, the biggest dude on your team, you got to fuck somebody up once in a while. No other big man respects him. He is a great NBA player. I don't care what he works on this summer. He got to work on this and this.
I'm glad somebody finally stood up and said something about how soft these guys are. This series came down to physicality and like who wanted it the most. And what we saw the Pacers. I don't know if people like really like look at what the Pacers do defensively. Hedges with physicality. They perimeter players switch with physicality and starting shit, whether it was hard fouls, whatever the case may be. Donovan Mitchell, we don't want to hear it, brother.
And getting beat down like this, and y'all are gonna write some shit about us, man.
You damn right we are, because we don't believe you. Donovan Mitchell, you got a coach fired. You got JB Bickerstaff fired. You didn't like him, right? Soon as he got fired, you got signed to a contract extension, right? You extended with the Cavs. This is why I point that out. Trying to win a championship, that shit ain't fun. That shit is stressful as fuck, right? That shit takes when you walk into practice facilities, and guess what? You may hate your coach that day because he's bringing out the best of you or holding you accountable, right? I'm not sitting up here knocking Kenny Atkinson, right? But Kenny Atkinson gave them guys too much leeway of like, yo, it's fun. No, the fuck it ain't. It's fun in the regular season. That shit's stressful as hell in the postseason. So now, all of a sudden, we are here now, again, a Donovan Mitchell-led team that had all the pieces. You make a trade at the deadline to go get a DeAndre Hunter, who's soft as well, too, because you don't sit out a game 2 for a dislocated thumb, bro. Like, fuck no. Evan Mobley, you sit out game 2 but play game 3 because you have a little pain and soreness in your fucking ankle sprain? See, that's the difference of mentality when you look at those guys and Donovan Mitchell. How many times y'all watched that game last night and the camera went on Donovan and it was like Donovan wanted the world to know that his ankle was sore and that he was pushing through it. I'm giving it my all, y'all, but I got a sore ankle. Go look at Anthony Edwards and what happened to him game 2. We ain't heard shit about it.
Yeah, man. JJ, what's up, man? Can you hear us? Yo, JJ3. Can you hear us? Well, anyway, B-False, going back to the what Perk had to say. Perk had a lot to say. And I can't say he was wrong with a lot of it. You know what I mean? But see, I think Perk, man, I like listening to Perk on TV and stuff like that. But I think Perk is one of them homies, man, that try and be the tough guy when he think he tougher than you. You know? He played the tough guy part-time. He's selective tough guy. We hear you now. Can you hear us? See, we can hear him. He can't hear us.
Yeah.
Perk is a selective tough guy. And I say that because
Tate, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
So basically, what you're saying is that the words, it's coming from a guy that shouldn't be able to speak on that, or well, because for me it was ironic because when I think of Channing Frye, I don't think of physical tough. For certain, I don't think of any.
That's not who he is, but I think as a collective, you gotta have somebody on the team like that.
Somebody,
you know what I mean? He understands that. Perk talking from a tough place. Channing Frye probably is a tougher big man than Jared Allen is. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
To me, Kendrick Person because has no business talking about Donovan Mitchell, whether he was showing he was hurt or not, he was hurt. Now I
think he was giving him credit though. I think he was letting it be known that he was trying to play through it, whereas the other guys were just sitting. Even though it came off like he was trying to play up to it or whatever. But
Yeah, I think Perk was saying, like, we know you hurt. You don't gotta show us and grab your calf and show us you hurt. But see, now he get little homie by KG and Paul Pierce now. He ain't say nothing about Paul Pierce going out in the wheelchair and running back on the court. I bet
That's
he ain't
because he
go,
made sure he
Paul,
had a
you
ring. There's
know?
only so much you can say about a guy that made sure you got a ring. So
That part. But I'm saying, be true to how you feel about it. Maybe you feel different about it over the years. That was 18 years ago.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
social media
16
definitely would
years
have killed
ago.
him. Social media definitely would have
2009.
killed him.
Checking in with JJ again. Can you hear us? But yeah, man. So quick take. Kobe Altman today, Cavs general manager, gave his end of season press conference. The Cavs are really upset about the loss. They feel like they made a lot of strides this season, but it was a disappointment because of what the season brought, then what the expectations the season created. They didn't live up to those expectations. They went out the same place they did last year. 5 games into the second round. A little bit of injuries came up at a bad time. Cavs relatively managed their roster well all season as far as injuries. Then you got some injuries hit, not excuses. Them got some of the injuries. I think them guys got to be tough enough to play through. I don't know what kind of moves the Cavs make. This is to the Cleveland people. We about to wrap up with Cleveland, talk about the NBA in its totality in about 60 seconds. I don't know what moves the Cavs make this offseason, if they make any. I mean, some contracts they got signed. They comfortable, if necessary, with going over the second apron. He said that. He feels like they have their core 4, and also with DeAndre Hunter and Max Strus. Now, you might see some other pieces move on, some Ty Jerome. Maybe he go take Kobe White's starting position. Sam Merrill, Dean Wade. Some of them pieces could be switched up for cheaper options, potentially. But what they're really expecting is Donovan Mitchell to sustain the level he's at for another few years. They're expecting a bounce both in Evan Mobley and Darius Garland. Darius got to get stronger. Darius got to get mentally tougher. Evan Mobley's got to get more experience and probably get mentally tougher himself too and keep evolving his game. And so that's where they're looking at the biggest improvements from to improve the team is just in squad growth as the squad is right now. You got 2 all-stars who haven't reached their potential. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you, I mean, what do you think about the fact that Strus had 0 points in 26 minutes? I mean, is that something that jumps out at you and is a glaring, issue in an elimination game that you don't score a single point in 26 minutes?
That could be. Strus played well the first 3 games, though. But that elimination game, if I go back to when he played with the Miami Heat and they lost in the finals of Denver, he didn't play well in that deciding game either. So I don't know if that's a thing, but I think I like Strus, though. He had a bad game. A lot of Cavs had a bad game the other day. And that's what Indiana did to us. You know what I mean? The physicality, the picking up full court, the pushing guys around and making it more of a physical contest, mano a mano, wore them down. And the shots that was going in during the season in a clean, crisp swing offense, no Diddy, wasn't really working. That's not playoff basketball. They have to develop a tougher identity, a tougher mentality. Not so much the players on the court and the skill. It's about mentality and identity, and they have to develop a tougher one.
And I got 2 more. Okay, just 2 more quick things.
Go
One, Indiana, never struck me as a super physical and defensive mentality type of team. So I feel like that's kind of, is that a concern to you that a team like Indiana that has like Halliburton and Miles Turner, I mean, these guys aren't I don't know, they don't, not in the way that the Pistons or maybe some other teams. I feel like I
don't disagree with you, but that's the Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying, but that's the MO on the Cavs, man, right? I mean, like that's how you beat the Cavs. That's the word on the street on them. You know, I know we not tough, but we can be tougher than them. We can push them around. Look at big, tall, goofy Jared Allen. Look at little soft Darius Garland. Yeah, if we let him, dribble, walk into a three and pull up, it's going and everything clean, everything good with Cleveland.
Right.
But when stuff get in the mud, though, it ain't always good. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, you're right, but until they prove that's not the MO, you have non-tough teams trying to be tough with them.
That's true.
You know? My thought. You had one more question?
Yeah, so one more thing. Donovan Mitchell. So we've seen him play on a couple pretty good teams. First in Utah, where he wasn't able to push them. He was a lot younger then, but he wasn't able to push them into the finals. And then now, like Perkins said, he got a coach fired. The results didn't get any better. What do you see moving forward with him? I mean, obviously he, fought through whatever injuries he had, so you can't really fault him too much. But can he be the guy on the team and push a squad to the top?
Yeah. I think he's a guy. I mean, I got him. He's a top 10 to 12 NBA player right now. He hasn't had luck get out the second round, but he's played with similarly minded teams, right? I mean, replace Jared Allen with Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Replace Max Strus with Joe Ingles in his prime.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's not great. It's not great.
You're right. You see the correlation. So when you get to that second round, now you in the final 8, right, of the NBA, the final 4 of your conference.
Yeah.
Then you could run into a Joker, Jamal Murray. Yeah, you could run into a Devin Booker,
LeBron,
and you know what I mean. And when they had that year, they had DeAndre Ayton and who else was the other guy?
They had Bridges. Then you talking about the Suns?
Bridges, yeah, the Suns. So yeah, Steph Curry, you run into some of them teams that are just better throughout than you. But star player for star player, Donovan Mitchell's up there with some of the best. You know what I mean? He took a step back this year, had his most efficient year because he wanted to get the other guys' confidence and involved. Hence, Darius Garland makes it back to All-Star. Evan Mobley is an All-Star for the first time because Mitchell took a bet. He's still going to be probably second team All-NBA. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think he can be a guy. I mean, I think with the growth and development aspect and, and that, how it used to be back in the day, man. You don't just get it right away. When you're a young and up and coming team, you gotta go through some things, right?
That's hopefully what we're doing with right now, or the early stages of it, anyways.
Right. No, and I agree with you. And y'all are there, and JB is going make it better because he's going to create that culture. And I'll let you get into the Pistons. So I'm gonna wrap this up right here. We'll go to our first break, probably our only break. When we come back from break, if you're watching on YouTube, stay with us. We're not going anywhere. We appreciate you guys in the live chat, Mr. Woodsey, Tim Lyons. Frustrated. Mr. Woodsey, Tim Lyons, y'all doing a lot, man. Y'all commenting a lot, but there's a few more people watching us in the live chat, but so we appreciate everybody's watching. JJ, can you hear us, man? He don't hear still.
Nah, I think he said that it's kind of buffering. He's hearing.
Yeah, I see that. But when he went out and came back, I thought maybe he could hear us. But if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to take a quick break. We're not going anywhere. If you listen on audio platform, be it Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your audio podcast at, check us out. Fans First Sports Network. That's Rather Cavalier. Post Game podcast for the Pistons. Frustrated Chicago sports fan. Wherever you get your NBA podcast, check out the Fans First Sports Network crew. We got some hoop for you. But we're going to take a quick break, quick pause for the calls, and be right back. And we'll go ahead and give the Rays the B false and let him go ahead and, drive the train and ask his questions and tell us about the Detroit Pistons. We'll be right back after this. And we're back on the That's Rather Cavalier in the Post Game podcast, Detroit Pistons podcast. B Falls, I'm gonna throw it over to you, man. Talk about what you want to talk about, but we want to get into talk about all briefly on all the teams. Talk about you kind of brought them up too, though. We talk about the Pacers being the last man standing in the division, and then get into the matches. But you go ahead and take it away, man. I'll answer your questions.
Okay, so what we talking about? We talking about the Pistons at this point?
Whatever you want to talk about, False. You can chop. We can chop this up. This will be your show.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I mean, I had prepared to just talk about all the other playoff teams, but
okay, go whatever you want to talk about.
But no, I mean, I can kind of touch briefly on what the Pistons have going on. We have an interesting free agency period to prepare for. We got a couple of guys like Tim Hardaway, Malik Beasley, and Dennis Schroeder. I think that I think the fan base is kind of indifferent about moving on from Tim Hardaway. I think the biggest concern is making sure that Malik Beasley and the Pistons can agree on a deal, and I also think that we would like to bring Dennis Schroeder back. Obviously, he played on, I think, 5 teams last year altogether. I think he played on Brooklyn, Golden State, and Detroit. So maybe just 3 teams, but hopefully we can come to some type of agreement. I think we have a mid-level exception that we might be able to use on him if he is willing to, because I don't know what the market is for a guy like him. A team might take a flyer and overspend for him. So that's kind of on him. But outside of that, as far as free agency targets, there's guys like Miles Turner. We're looking for a big man that can space the floor, that can maybe be an upgrade to Tobias Harris at the starting position. Guys like Bobby Portis. Who else? Oh yeah, also Naz Reid, who's obviously he's in a playoff run right now that could be looking for a bigger payday because they got a lot of money tied up in Ant Edwards and Gobert and McDaniels and Julius Randle could possibly be looking for a payday as well. So Naz Reid could possibly be the odd man out. But I think another pressing concern is what we're going to do with Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey, who is, we picked up the option on him, but he could possibly get an extension. Jalen Duren is going to need an extension at some point. So obviously we're pretty comfortable with the core we have established right now, but there's obviously some big trade candidates out there as well, such as a Booker that's been rumored to us for quite some time, as well as Zion Williamson. So I don't think that we're going to take the big swing this year. I think we're pretty comfortable with the development of our young players like Ivy and Duren and young players like that. So we'll see.
Don't you leave nobody named Thompson out, before.
Oh yeah, of course. But Thompson's going into his third. He's Duren and Ivy are more pressing on the money. We don't have to. We're not up to pay.
Thompson's still time, but he's to me.
Of course, Cade. I don't have to mention Cade.
Cade already got his extension, though.
He's extended.
Yeah, he's extended. He got that Evan Mobley money. So I already know about them guys.
Right. So yeah. Still a little bit of time. This time next year, we'll be having that same discussion about where Asar Thompson and how he's developed. But as of right now, it's Duren and Ivy that are have the extensions possibly looming right now.
Okay, I think personally, just me chiming in on the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
I think Duren's a keeper. I think he develops into that 5 that is only going to get better because it's only going to get stronger and get tougher. And he already plays a strong, tough, aggressive kind of game.
Yeah.
And he's not the stretch 5, but he's a physical 5. I mean, New York seems to be doing all right this year. Now he's healthy with Mitchell Robinson, right? Nas Reed would be a good fit, but I gotta believe Minnesota can't let him go because they let Cat go because they knew they had him filling in to replace what Cat brought. To me. But
Do you
I
think
think
they
Zion.
can? You think they can extend? Because Randall has I think he has a $28 million player option that he can opt into or opt out of. Because this is his last chance to get any big. I think he's pushing 30 right now, and I think this is his last chance to get big money. So, do you think that they can afford to pay Randall and Reed? Because Reed's a little younger, so I think they can say, all right, well, we'll take the younger guy and hope that he can be a Randall. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think Randall's will opt out. If it's 28 million, he will opt out. 28 million is third, fourth guy money, right? I mean, with the way the salaries are going up and stuff like that. I think Randall, if he opts out at 28, he can get a bump to 35 a year. That wouldn't be overpaid. So why wouldn't I opt out and still want to sign with the Timberwolves again? But if he can go out there and get 35 million, he could do that. I mean, the Timberwolves could let Randall go, chase that extra little bit of bag, right? I mean, I say extra little bit, but $7 million a year. If you sign a 3-year deal, that's another $20+ million in your family's pocket.
Right.
So I understand that from a business perspective, but I think even though I like Julius Randle, how he fits, because, and if you remember, I said a lot of stuff earlier when I said the Pacers was going to regress, and they back to where they was last year and looking better. So, but I also said that when they early in the season when they wasn't playing good, that Minnesota was a team that's good watch just because of they makeup, their mentality, their toughness. And Edwards is a leader. He don't care who he playing. Julius Randle's a tough guy. The guys they bring off the bench, Mike Conley's an experienced veteran. Only reason I didn't pick the Timberwolves in the first round was because they was playing LeBron and the Lakers, and that's what I was rooting for. Because I've been kind of down with the Timberwolves all year saying that, but then when they matched up against 3-6 against the Lakers, I took the Lakers. But yeah, so I think for the Timberwolves, what's his name? Nas Reed is the priority over the two.
Yeah. And
So,
things could very well change as they can. I mean, they're still playing for something. So, Julius has a couple, 25 and 10 efforts and
that's
pushes
true.
them to the, that might be like, maybe he's worth bringing, but
right. That could happen. He's still playing. He still extended his tape for his payday.
yeah.
You
And
know,
because early in the year, because he has taken a step back, obviously he was the 1A, 1B with Jalen Brunson. So playing with a guy like Ant, he had to take a step back and take less shots. So I think it was the sight for what he might do was a little bit more clear. But as the team has kind of gelled together and developed, and they've continued to win, hey, he might like it there. He might
like it there, and I don't disagree with you. I think the fit is better with Ant than it was Brunson because Brunson is a ball dominant, high usage point guard, right? I mean, Ant is a ball dominant, high usage two guard, but you
but
got
not
Mike
really,
Conley
though.
facilitating the offense,
Right.
so that creates a better flow, better scheme for Julius Randle to work in. You know what I mean? And hell, even the other night, and Edwards had 12 assists. Like 7 of them was to Julius Randle. I mean, Jalen Brunson is good as he's a bucket, man. I respect him more every playoff. Dude's a bucket. But I mean, so yeah, Minnesota still could be the thing. But as of right now, because he's younger, like you said, Nas Reed's a priority. But if they get a chip or make it close to a chip, that could change quick.
Yeah. Because Julius, he's playing tough right now. His last couple, 29, 31, 24, 24.
Yeah.
Hey,
And,
not bad.
and some boards, some 8, 9, 10 game boards, 4 or 5 assists. He been filling the stat sheet up.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, man. So let's go ahead and just talk about the Pacers real quick, because like I said, I was wrong about them, completely wrong about them. They are still the last man standing from the East in no regression, like the graphic says. I called for them to regress. They didn't. You know, I'm not even a bit concerned, because this matchup against the Knicks, I really don't even know, man. I don't know.
Tough to say.
I mean, yeah, tough to say. They beat the Knicks last year. And I don't know what changed for New York. I mean, I guess they did have Cat last year, but not like Cat's doing a lot.
What changed? You talking about from last year?
Yeah, because they beat the Knicks last year, so I don't know why I wouldn't say the Pacers going to beat the Knicks this year, right? Why wouldn't I say that? They beat them last year, and they look better. But
the Knicks are healthier this year. Brunson, I think Randall didn't play at all. Randall didn't play the whole second half of the year.
He was in New York last year, but he didn't play half the year last year.
You're asking why the Pacers won't beat them again, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying why shouldn't I just pick the Pacers? I said I don't know about this series. Who's going to win it?
I think that you have to – the difference is that Brunson is healthy this year. They didn't have Randall last year, so now they have Towns. Towns is healthy. He's essentially the replacement guy. Bridges, Anunoby. Anunoby's probably more healthy too, because Anunoby I think he was dealing with a bad elbow last year. So yeah, they're going in with some nice momentum. I think they've kind of a lot has gone right for them. Obviously Tatum, they were about to lose that game anyways, but the fact that Tatum went out with an injury helped them. Porzingis was coming off the bench the whole series. As far as the Pistons series, I mean, I don't know. Tough to say whether Isaiah Stewart missing pretty much the whole series made a difference, but the Pistons had inexperience on their side. So that played a factor, but yeah, this, for all intents and purposes, this team is a lot more healthy than they were last year. So it should be a good series. Their rivalry or their battles in the playoffs go back to, well, from what I remember, back to the Ewing and Reggie Miller and Mark Jackson days. So I think it sets up, as far as I think both series left set up for some interesting matchups. You got Halliburton, who a lot of people said was overrated. I think they can pretty much, be done with that. But so you got Halliburton versus Brunson, and then you got SGA versus Ant Edwards. So some of these younger guys, it's no longer LeBron versus whatever, Jokic or whatever.
Right.
It's kind of the changing of the guard, and some of these young guys are coming in and becoming being able to set their legacies as top players in the league.
Right. Okay. No, I definitely agree with you. So we're gonna have a new champion again.
Yep,
I believe it's like 6 out of the last 6 years, last 7 years. It's been a different champion every year. And I ask you a trivia question, B-Falls. Which one of these teams that are left in the playoffs last won an NBA title?
Last one. Well, the thing that was crossing my mind, Minnesota's never won one. OKC has never won one. So we got New York and definitely Indiana. When did Indiana win, though? It might be New York, because I can't remember when Indiana ever won a championship.
You're absolutely right. It is New York.
And that was a long time ago. The
1973.
Wow. I was going to say the Knicks haven't made the finals since the early 2000s, maybe the 90s.
99.
Yes, that's what it was. I knew it was right in between. So, yeah, it's
99.
It's gonna be interesting. I mean, I'm trying to close my eyes and picture one of these guys holding the trophy, whether it's like Towns, Brunson, SGA. It's going to be weird either way.
Right. No,
but a couple guys
agree
that I really wanted to. I mean, like I always wanted to see Randall win one because he's kind of bounced around and this is
said nobody ever. I want to see Julius Randle win a championship.
It's funny is I avidly follow the Knicks, and I remember how much they hated Randall, especially after he did that thumbs down gesture in the Garden, and they hated that man. Like,
yeah,
and yeah, it was warranted because he often does have bad body language and often looks disgruntled out there. But I mean, I think he's genuinely a decent individual and a good basketball player. But
good dad.
I was gonna say that, but I also don't like the optics of because what you see on camera makes you a good dad.
Right.
He appears to be
I see him. Yeah, what you see
bear.
on camera. Yeah. The real involved doting dad is what the perception is that is created for us.
You see him on the court. It's like Tatum's son. You see him on the court.
Right. But so if we get out of here, False, let's go ahead real quick, man, and let's pick the winners.
Okay.
You pick. Well, we're here.
We're here.
We need content. It's only you and I. So we're gonna give the people some predictions. We down to 4 teams. It's easier than it was at the beginning.
For sure.
You got a higher percentage of being right now than you did back at the middle of April.
Absolutely.
So you do the West first, and I'll do the East first.
I'm going with the Timberwolves to beat OKC, and I'll tell you, I'll bring it all together in the end. Why?
Okay. Yeah. I'm going with the Knicks to beat the Pacers.
Okay.
And I'm going with the Timberwolves to beat OKC. Now you pick the East.
So we agree. And my thought process after the first round was I would love to see it would be a cool story to see. Obviously, the Knicks and Timberwolves had that big trade, Towns and DiVincenzo. It would be an interesting story. And somebody I posted it actually on Facebook, and somebody was like, "Oh, this is before the Celtics got put out. Obviously, they're like, what are you having a bad fever dream? That's not going to happen. Boston in 5." And I said, fair enough. That was the realistic thought process. So I didn't give too much pushback. Plus, I wasn't really trying to campaign too hard for the Knicks because they had just put my Pistons out. So I said, fair enough, but. And of course, I got my get back later on. I was like, well, that dream. But I think that would be a really cool, make for a really cool story. And so I'm gonna just go with that. Not to say that I think that. I mean, I think the Minnesota could very well beat the. Could very well beat OKC. It would also be cool to see Hartenstein go back and play against New York because he obviously just came from there too. So there's a couple different storylines out there, but
right,
Minnesota.
They're definitely out there. Obi Toppin going back to play against the Knicks like he did last year, though, I guess too.
Right,
that
one we get to see
because it's going to start in the Garden. New York got the home court, even though it seemed like the Pacers have made quicker work of their playoff opponents. New York was a 3 seed, right? I got New York winning because I think, he won the award, but I think Brunson's the most clutch player in the NBA. And I think the Pacers are going to get carried away with thinking they can bring the physicality against every team. It only works against the Cavs right now. So, you throw Mitchell Robinson in there, you throw Anunoby in there. I think Jalen Brunson, no Diddy, he wants the physicality. You know what I mean? He wants to get to his spot, hit you with his little step back. Like I said, dude, just a bucket, man. So many of them shots, I think it's good defense being played, but he makes them, man.
Yeah.
He makes them at a high clip. So, I think Miles Turner going to turn back to Miles Turner when he got to battle against Mitchell Robinson. Somebody's going to be bullying him. because I think the defense of Anunoby, and I mean the Patriots have the same type of guys, but the Knicks have the same type of guys that are bigger and longer. Anunoby is bigger and longer than your boy Neesmith. Josh Hart is tougher than Nimhart. You know what I mean? Randall is right. Randall versus Pascal Siakam. That like Shaq say, that barbecue chicken.
You talking about Towns?
No, I'm. Yeah, because Randall ain't with Knicks no more. Towns versus Siakam, right? Towns should have that advantage.
It should be Towns versus Turner, maybe.
Well, not Mitchell Robinson in the game.
Has Mitch been starting?
Yeah, I think he's been starting. I haven't watched every Knicks playoff game. He's in down when they want to go big. I've seen them take Towns out and have Mitchell Robinson in.
Gotcha.
Depending on what Tibbs want to do. But yeah, and so they gonna be playing together too, because Tibbs play like a 6-7 man rotation in most games. But yeah, so I like the Knicks in that one, and the other one, it's a tough one. I just feel like OKC is not there yet. You play for home court advantage. Yesterday, the home court advantage got them through. They used the energy of the crowd when they won that run at the end of the second half. I was like, man, y'all cannot be turning the ball over like that, Denver. That just that blew the game over right there. It was 42-41. Next thing I know, it's damn near 58-43 going to something like that going into halftime. So, but I like Ant. I like Ant's mentality. I like everything from a basketball perspective that Ed Edwards is about. You know what I mean? He about business. He said, I don't care who your name is, what your name and number on your jersey is. I'm coming at you. That's just how I look at it. I respect everybody, but I don't fear nobody. So I just
who takes that matchup? Do you put Jalen Williams out there? I think.
No, you put Dort on him. You got to put Dort on him.
Oh yeah, Lou Dort. Okay, that's actually a nice bruiser matchup right there.
Yeah, that's a nice bruiser matchup. Yeah, but Dort can get put on skates. Dort has his best success against guys he can be physical with. And maybe you pick Caruso on him.
I was thinking that, but I don't think he plays enough minutes to, I don't, because Ant's going to play 45 minutes a game.
Yeah, probably.
I guess you can throw Caruso out there to
to mix it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I'm at this one. I'm just rooting for Ant. I don't, and that's where I get caught up sometimes, because in the NBA I have my team, then I root for players. So, I whoever left, the 4 teams left, I'm rooting for Ant Edwards. So, I got Knicks, Minnesota winning
the championship. Interesting. That'd be cool. I don't think I'm mad either way. I'll tell you what, they're gonna burn not Madison, Times Square down if the Knicks win it all, because they've been waiting to have a team to root for a long time. But
long time. I mean, to really root for seriously since the Pat Riley Knicks. I mean, the Jeff Van Gundy Knicks made that finals run. They was an AC that made the finals in '99.
That's like Allen Houston and all those guys.
Yeah, Spreewell, Houston, injured Camby.
Okay. You
know what I mean? So yeah, that was them guys. But yeah, man. So with that being said, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Call it a show. You got anything you wanna let the people know where they can find you? Anything you want to plug? Anything like that, man? Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to be starting the coverage soon for the NBA prospects. The 5-12 marked the beginning, the lottery marked the beginning of that NBA profile segment. So we're going to be getting to that real soon. Obviously, you can catch us every Wednesday talking the NFC North. And then also every Sunday, me and Coach have a show covering the Detroit Tigers, who are have the number one power ranking in all of the major leagues right now. And so, yeah, hopefully we can continue that success that we're having. Okay, man. Yeah, be sure to check out Bleachers to Speakers,
Frustrated Chicago sports fans, you can get to who's king of the North.
Yeah, King of the North. Yeah,
King of the North. You can get
who will be king, but yeah,
who will be king on both channels. Bleachers to Speakers and Frustrated Chicago sports fan, depending on which team you have more of an affinity to. I rock with Detroit over Chicago, and that's mostly just because of pay. You know what I mean? I was a Walter Payton fan. Pay's ruined all that for me.
he ruined. That's
The
crazy.
whole Frustrated Chicago sports fans, a record label and a MF and crew that ruined that for me. You know, I'm against the Bears now. Too much talking over there, man. Some C Red. Remember C Red? Remember the homie GQ was on here?
Man.
I mean, you know how Rick was from Fort Life and hip hop. Them boys get hyped, man. You know, these boys ain't seen a championship in football since 40 years ago.
I was gonna say like the Knicks. It's been a while since
And for the Bulls now, it's been almost 30. I mean, so a lot of these guys have grown up. Maybe they saw their last championship when they was in like 5th grade. You know what I mean?
If you're in your 20s, you haven't seen one.
If you're in your 20s, you haven't seen one. You're right.
And if you're in your early 30s, you just maybe barely. Maybe you remember.
Mike last one in 98. 98.
Oh, 98. Okay.
Yeah, they beat Utah them last 2 years in a row.
I mean, that was my first look at basketball for real, if we're being honest.
Back in 98?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you sat in front of the TV, but did you know what you were watching?
No, yeah, I get it. I get it. So the first one I remember watching was the Lakers Sixers.
Okay, Lakers and Sixers.
That was like.
So what is that like? The
80.
Julius Erving or who was
Mad,
that?
yeah. Doc was there in his late prime.
Right.
You know, his prime was the ABA, but Magic was like a rookie and filled in for Kareem at center. In Game 7, had 42, like 12 and 10, crazy triple double for the point guard playing center. But Magic was capable of that. But yeah. So that's the first one I remember, and that was like 80, 81.
Yeah,
So
I think my first real memory was that the push off of Byron Russell.
Okay, that was.
And I remember
rooting
against the Bulls.
Root against the Bulls.
Yeah, against them.
You knew paying them back then too.
No, not.
But yeah, man. With that being said, we're gonna jump on out of here, man. Thanks to the homie B Foss for rocking with us, holding it down for not only his co-host June, but also for the other guys that typically roll with us. You know, we did the show, just the two of us. So, shout out to Foss and us for holding it down for the Central Division Showdown podcast. And be sure to check us out wherever you listen to your audio podcast on Fans First Sports Network and whatever the name of the channel is. So until next week, and next week is Memorial Day, so I don't know what everybody wants to do yet. I guess that's up to who's ever hosting. I think that might be, is it you guys? Or did y'all do it last week?
We did last week.
All right, well, so we won't be here because Pay's in charge. So I'm just guessing. But with that being said, though, man, we out. Thanks for rocking with us. Peace.